Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Shawn Smoak and Kevin Price. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoak, licensed realtor with eXp Realty.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Congratulations are in order for 4 tennis programs in the 912 Sports coverage area. Hello, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Shawn Smoak, and we've got a great show for you tonight. There were 4 tennis programs in the 912 crowned as the GHSA state champions this past week in tennis. Congratulations go out to the Brantley County Herrings, the Appleton County Pirates, and the Pierce County Bears. I'll have interviews with the head coaches of each of the tennis teams. GHSA held its state golf tournaments this weekend all around the state of Georgia, and Kevin Price will have an update from around the 912. Pick up the latest copy of 912 Sports Magazine today. 912 Sports, it's your number one source for high school sports. Next week is the GHSA dead period for high school athletics, so there'll be no new episodes of On Air with 912 Sports, but we'll be right back here on June the 5th with a brand new show. Stick around for tonight's episode. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome back, sports fans. We're now here with Coach Patrick Steve of the Brantley County Herrings. He's both the boys and girls coach. And congratulations to both your boys and girls teams down there in Brantley County. You guys come away with 2 state championships this year. And we'll start it off, Coach, by starting over on the girls' side. You guys go into the tournament ranked number 1, so all the pressure's on you guys. You're the defending state champs. You play in a really, really tough region. But let's just talk about the road that got you there to the championship series.
Yes, sir. That sounds good. And like you said, that number one seed, it came with some pressure, but we like to talk about pressure being a privilege. So we earned that right, through the hard work in the off season with these kids.
Right. And coach, you basically come back with almost every one of your starters from the 24 state championship team. You had your number one player, you had your number two player. I'm not sure about your doubles and all, but you had a good solid core to get going in here in 2025.
That's right. Yes, sir. We returned four, three of them being seniors. And then we've had some people, shuffle up, some sophomores shuffle up into the lineup at doubles. We had a freshman come in, Haley Jane Smith, to play three singles for us and actually go 31-0 as a freshman at three singles, which was tremendous, accomplishment individually for her and definitely helped our team out as well. Returning, at one singles, Brooklyn Wilds, who's been 912 Player of the Year several years in a row now. Rayleigh Strickland, who has blown our most wins in a career record out of the water with 87 career wins for her over here. So definitely some great stuff. We had Summer Colley leading us as a senior at one doubles, and definitely a great group that has worked hard throughout the year. They also 22 win season for our girls, which is the most that we've had in history as well. So,
right. Well, coach, like I said, when you go in as the number one seed, and basically this is not the old GHSA. This is the new where we throw them all in the pot and we come back out with 32, 1 through 32 rankings. You guys had to play three region opponents to win this state championship. Kind of give us your feeling on that. How tough is it to go play somebody you've already played a couple times earlier in the season?
It's definitely not easy. That's even with Thomasville in the second round. We knew about them, and Berrien we knew about them. Jeff Davis we know about them, but beating these teams, twice, and with Jeff Davis we actually had to beat them three times this year. Once in regular season, region championship, and then in the region finals. It's not easy because these are good quality teams, and there's a reason why they made deep playoff runs. It's a testament to our region, and it also kind of tells us where our South Georgia tennis is in comparison to the North Georgia. So definitely good stuff.
Right. And you guys, you defeat Dublin in round one, you defeat Thomasville in round two, then you beat Ace Charter in round three. You play Berrien, another regional opponent there in Final Four. That gives you the right to go play for the state title there. And again, it's a rematch from the 2024 state championship. You play your region foe, Jeff Davis. Let's just talk about, Coach, who got it done for you that day and who was able to get you the three wins in order to win the state championship.
Well, in the championship, it's we actually started at about 5:15 on Saturday. Hot day. It's in the 90s. A little bit of overcast. We're just coming off. Our boys had just finished winning previous, to the girls' match getting started. The vibe was a little bit, tiresome. It seemed like the crowd kind of was a little bit exhausted, from the match before. It took us a little bit to get going, but we were able to get it done. First, Rayleigh Strickland got off the court in straight sets. Second person to come off the court for us would have been Haley Jane Smith at three. So it's tied to 2-2, and it was left up to Brooklyn Wilds in a big-time third set victory at number one singles against some definitely tough competition from Jeff Davis. I mean, like you said, region foe, but it goes back to last year's state championship, but it even goes back to the year before when we lost to them in the Final Four for their eventual championship season. So it's been quite the rivalry the last few years for sure with these kids, and most of it's been with the same girls, going at it each year. So great times for sure.
Right. Well, Coach, going back to back, that's super hard to do. Super impressive there for the girls. But your guys, let's go ahead and shift gears. We'll go on into the guys. They were able to get it done as well. Now they went into the tournament ranked number one through in the single A Division I, and but these guys, they didn't really have to face anybody all the way through that you guys had played before, so they got to play some unknown opponents. So I'm sure there had to be some research going on, some watching the film, so your guys kind of knew what they were going up against.
Yeah, believe it or not, we definitely there's some research that goes on. We try to find common opponents. We try to find out, a little bit about the kids we're playing and what to expect. But when it all boils down to it, it's when that other team gets off the bus and warm up, that gives us a little bit of insight. But then I always tell my kids this, we see people, warming up and we see them hitting. The question's not can they hit. The question is, can they play? So that's something we kind of live and die by over here, and we try to make sure that we can outplay folks. And we do that by running down every tennis ball that comes our way, make our opponent have to hit one more. Definitely, the things that we have stuck to throughout this season and throughout our program history are the things that get these things done for us, as far as, winning a championship. The boys are at 5 region championships in a row. We're number 1 seed. It just like we talked about with the girls, the pressure is a privilege. Those unknown opponents, though, that's a little bit different, definitely. It was different when they got off the bus, getting ready to play us than it was on the girls' side, not knowing what we were going to see. So,
yeah. But what's key in that is they had to get off the bus and play at your house. You didn't have to get off the play at the bus at their house.
That's true. That's true. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you guys were able to take down Coosa in the first round, Commerce in the second, Rabun County in the third. Then you faced Modell in the Final Four, and that won you a chance to play in that state title round against Blakely County, who's from down here. And I call Blakely the southern part of Georgia anyway. It's not one of the big North Georgia teams by no means, but you guys were able to get it done 3-0 in that final series there for the state title. But talk a little bit about how you guys got to that 3-0.
Yeah, so getting to it, and to speak back on the other rounds too, we were able to win each of our matches 3-0, and we didn't always win them in the same line. So I mean, it took a total team effort. The kids buying into we don't come off the court unless we've got a W. Otherwise, we're staying on there and we're going to fight until one of our teammates finishes for us. Getting to 3-0 versus Blakely was not easy. That was a tough tennis team and a tough school, to play when it comes to tennis. They've got a long history of success as well. On that day, though, on Friday or Saturday, definitely, like I said, with the girls, it's a hot day. We started at 2:00. Kids got there around, noon to start hitting and warming up. Our doubles were able to get off the court first in straight sets, both doubles. First doubles led by Tucker O'Quinn and Jace Chapman. In second doubles, we have junior Jet Flory and sophomore Evan Payne, who were able to get it done there in straight sets. And that left us in a good spot being up 2-0. However, all of our singles ended up splitting sets. So we were in 3 sets at 1 singles, 2 singles, and 3 singles. We had Rowan Davis at 1 singles who split Patrick O'Quinn at 2 singles that split, and then Owen Spradley at 3 singles that split. And it was Rowan Davis that was able to get off the court first in the third set to secure it for us. The environment was electric. Unlike the girls who won it, the girls won it last year. The boys have been biting at the, chomping at the bits for quite a while now. This senior class did play for a state title in 2002. Against Westminster, who we kind of know what their tennis record is. It's right. Extensive when it comes to state champions. But that moment of the boys, we finally did it. It was a big deal for them and for our community. You could tell Saturday how big of a deal it was for our community just in the support that we had. If you've never seen 6 tennis courts surrounded by people, 4 and 5 rows deep, chairs, we've got the rockers, there's tents set up. It was quite the environment, that's for sure. And the support from our school system, administration, all that's you can't match it. I mean, it's a great community feel for our sport for sure.
Right. Well, it's a good thing. Yeah, glad the Heron Nation showed up. No doubt that they would, and like I said, glad that the boys were able to get it done. Like you said, 5 region championships in a row. I don't know how many Final Four appearances, but this team this year was able to hoist the cup, and I know it had to feel good.
Absolutely. And like I said, with the team too, they broke our record just like the girls did for most wins in a season. 26 wins in a season for the team, which is broke our previous record of 21. So I mean, this is just a record-setting year all around. A lot of individuals, stepping up to the plate, and our teams for sure, gelling together and getting it done on both sides.
Well, Coach, congratulations once again, not only to the boys team, but the girls team as well. Girls go back-to-back in 24 and 25. Boys get their first one here in 25. So congratulations. We'll keep up with you, and hopefully we'll talk about this again next year.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Shawn. Thank you, man.
All right. That's Coach Patrick Steve of the Brantley County Herons, 2-time state champions here in 2025. We've got more on air with 912 Sports right after this.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome back, sports fans. We're now joined with Ashley Wright, head coach of the Appleton County Pirates. First of all, Coach Wright, congratulations on the state championship there in AA girls tennis. A great job by your Appleton County Pirates there. You guys will go into the tournament, Ashley, as the number 1 seed. Did you guys feel like there was any added pressure knowing that, the rest of the state thought y'all were the number 1 team?
Absolutely. And when you go in number 1, it's always a lot of pressure because you don't want to mess it up, and you know that you're the number 1 team for a reason, but you also feel the pressure of, the number 3 team's going to be just as good as the number 1 team, so anything could happen.
Right. Well, in this era where everybody gets reseeded, it's a little bit different. There would have been 4 number 1 seeds in the old traditional way going into the tournament, but now they've singled everybody out. It's 1 through 32. You guys go in, and not only that, you guys have to play a region opponent in round 2 to get to the state championship. Somebody that's familiar with you guys. Again, is that some added pressure for y'all going up against a region foe there in round 2?
Oh, definitely. And it actually was Savannah Arts, and Savannah Arts ended in the Final Four last year with us. They were the number 4 team in the region, but most of you know we have a tough region. So when you play them, it's definitely going to be a tough match. It's not going to be easy.
Right. Well, you guys, like I said, you guys were number 1 for a reason. Talk a little bit about some of that senior leadership that you had that made you guys number 1 going into the playoffs.
This group right here I started middle school with them because I was the middle school coach and the high school coach, so I ran the whole entire program. So I've actually had this group of girls since 6th grade. Ever since that we got this group, they've just been unique. They always fight. They have good team leadership. They get along. Nobody fusses. Nobody fights. They want to win. They put in extra work. They're just very unique. Every year they've always won, even going back all the way to middle school.
Right. Well, like I said, great job there. Let's go back to that final tournament, that last series you guys had. Played against Columbus. Was a possibility you guys could have played against your region foe, Pierce, but Pierce falls to Columbus there in the Final Four. But you guys go in, you actually win that tournament 3-2. I think that was the first tournament, actually, that you guys didn't win 3-0 going into the state championship. But talk a little bit about those rounds and who came through for you to hoist that state title.
And I would like to go back to Pierce. Anytime you play them, it's going to be an intense match. They have a great program as well. And we actually ended up beating them 3-2 in the season. We beat them twice, but it wasn't an easy win. It took a lot. Columbus, when I heard, we really was at a toss-up. We had no idea who was going to win. We knew it was going to be a battle between Pierce and Columbus. And we were kind of preparing ourselves for both. It was one of those situations where we were like, well, maybe we would rather Columbus win because here we got to beat somebody 3 times in a row, and that's always a task. But Columbus actually won, and when we were playing in the tournament with them, we knew their number 1 doubles was very strong, and we had been working on that, and it actually came down to the number 1 doubles team that was left on the court. It was tied 2-2, and they pulled out the win for us. But my number 3 singles, Addie Towns, my number 1 doubles, which is Anna Claire Smith and Amy E. Walson, and then my number 2 doubles, which is very unique, but it's my daughter, Bristol Wright and Braylon Shelby. That were the wins to bring us through for the state championship.
Right. Well, congratulations. A great run there. Like I said, all that pressure being number one going into the tournament, you girls get it done. So congratulations. And one thing about it, nobody can ever take that away from you guys. Actually, you guys will always be state champions. So congratulations, and we appreciate your time here on Air with 912 Sports today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks a lot. Stick around. We've got more On Air with 912 Sports right after these messages from our sponsors.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome back, sports fans. We're now joined with the head coach of the Pierce County boys tennis team, Matt Hickok. Congratulations, Coach, on a great job there winning the state title.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Matt, you guys, this is your second year as the varsity tennis coach there. You guys take it all the way to the state championship, get it done. I believe, Matt, this is the first state championship for tennis that Pierce has ever had for the boys.
Yes, sir. It is. It's the first time that the boys and the girls have made the Final Four in the same year. And then, obviously, the boys going on to win. It is the first state championship. We're pretty excited over here.
Right. And I tell you, it's programs like yours, it's programs like Columbus that, you can see you not only is the boys team or the girls team good, but you got both of them in the mix, and Pierce was the same way. Y'all making it to the Final Four. Columbus did the same thing, just the inverse. You guys played Columbus and the boys, and then in the girls, I think that's who Apple played. So they both made it all the way to the final there. But Matt, let's go back to the beginning of the playoffs. I mean, you guys have been strong all year. You play in a really, really tough region. You go into the playoffs as a number 2 seed after everything gets reseeded. But, oh, by the way, you got to play 2 region foes on the way to the championship. So talk a little bit about how tough that is to play somebody like Savannah Arts when you've already played them in the regular season and Apple when you played them in the regular season.
Well, I started off trying to deal with these power rankings, not knowing exactly how that math is going to work itself out. I tried to schedule the hardest schedule we could possibly get together of people who, would play us. And it ended up working out for us pretty well. We won some big matches and ended up getting that number 2 overall seed. So my team was battle tested when we went into the playoffs. That was the goal that we had. Going into the playoffs, we started with Booker T. Washington High School out of Atlanta. After beating them at home, we ended up moving to Savannah Arts. Already played Savannah Arts one time. They're a good team, solid team from top to bottom. The coach does a great job there. The kids, they play hard. They're respectable kids. You get a lot of tennis etiquette out of that group. We've worked together with them. We hosted Savannah Arts here 2 other matches so they could meet because our region is 4 hours apart from, Savannah Arts to Crisp or Savannah Arts to Cook. And so I had already been around them. It wasn't – we felt like we could win that match, but it wasn't a guaranteed win. And so I was proud of the boys' way they competed. That was a 4-0 win for us. My first singles didn't get finished in time before Savannah Arts had to leave and take their girls to play another opponent. Then we had Applin. Now, we'd already beaten Applin twice this year and beat them in the regular season here. We hosted the region championship. Applin came back and beat them then. Both times 4-1. It was good matches. It wasn't like we absolutely rolled them. Applin was a very good tennis team, highly competitive. The kids played hard, a lot of passion. That always happens between Pierce and Applin.
Definitely.
But this time, we ended up beating them 3-1. We pulled the first singles match, but that match came down to the wire. They had won a second doubles match. We were fighting for our life. at first singles and at first doubles. We ended up pulling it out in 3 sets on our first doubles team. That ended up clinching it. But, I thought Appleton came in, having lost to us already twice. I felt like they came in really loose, no pressure, and they played phenomenal tennis. And, that was my kids. I told my kids that they showed more emotion beating Appleton in the Elite Eight than they did beating Sonoraville in the Final Four to go to the state championship. I was like, that was a bigger win for us. So I thought that was pretty cool just to have that. And, again, battle tested coming into Sonoraville. Sonoraville was a very good team. Watching them warm up, I thought, that was going to be one heck of a dogfight. They're a very good team. They look very good. Kids got great strokes, good tennis players. But just being honest with you, that's probably the best match that we've played all year long was against Sonoraville. We were clicking on all cylinders, and my kids performed at a high level.
Right, and you get down to Columbus for the championship. That goes 3-2, so had to be some nail biting time there, Matt, in that final series.
Yes, sir. So it was pretty cool. My girls played Columbus in Columbus, and then my boys played Columbus here, obviously. And my girls played them in the Final Four. We got them in the state championship. The atmosphere is really different over there at Columbus. It's very quiet. And I knew that was going to be different over here at Pierce, playing a home state championship match. Columbus came in. They are one heck of a tennis team. We had already gotten reports about how good Columbus was. They had played some similar opponents in, I believe, a Jaco Jam tournament that they had earlier, and we knew Columbus was going to be phenomenal. It was more of a thing to where we just, we just can't. We can't have fear. We can't have anxiety. We just got to go play the same game that we've played all year long, the same game that a lot of these kids have played since, the fifth grade. We're still playing tennis, and that's kind of the mindset that we went in with. That it's still just tennis. Now the atmosphere got a little intense there at the end. With Columbus, we end up we won our first doubles match. And then we turned around and lost the second doubles match close. Those were both, great matches. My third singles, Aiden Carlson, has not lost a set all year. He was in the dogfight in the second set. Kid came back, really broke his momentum, and ended up making that one really close. We ended up pulling out the third singles match, and it come down to court 1 and 2. It had Jeb Bradley at second singles and JC Nimmer at first singles. They were in dog fights. I thought JC played really well. The opponent that he played, I believe the kid's name was Mac. That kid was a pretty special tennis player. And JC fought hard, played hard the whole time, and ended up falling in 2 sets, but very close. And so it come down it felt like the entire community was here. But it come down to watching Jeb Bradley in that second singles match. And that was definitely a dogfight. But Jeb's been playing his best tennis when we got in the playoffs. It's just like any other sport. You play good sometimes, you play bad sometimes. Jeb started playing his best tennis when we got into the playoffs, and he's beat some tough opponents. The Appleton kid he beat, the Sonoraville kid that he beat was phenomenal. And then obviously this kid that he beat from Columbus was pretty special too. But Jeb's been on it. Jeb's mind he's one of my strongest mentally stronger athletes. He's in it. He's focused. He was locked in, and that come down. We did win in straight sets, in that second singles, but that kid got momentum after about halfway through the set, and ended up jumping ahead 5-4 on Jeb. Jeb pulled up and tied him. The kid jumped up again 6-5. Jeb tied him 6-all. And they went into a tiebreaker, and in that tiebreaker, Jeb took care of business. So,
yeah, well, that's a lot on the line to come down to a tiebreaker. Like I said, it takes a lot of mental toughness to know that your team is, sitting there watching you in that situation, knowing that the whole, the championship or being runner up is coming down to you. So, congratulations there to
yes.
Jeb. But great job, Matt, there. Only in your second year as varsity tennis coach there, but like I said, got things rolling. Girls make it all the way. I think your girls were Final Four, right?
Yes, sir. They made it to the Final Four.
girls Final Four, and then win the championship there in the boys. Again, congratulations to both teams there, but great job, and we'll keep up with you guys, and hopefully you guys can go back to back next year.
That's the goal. That's the goal. It's all in timing. This is a strong group. We knew when they were coming through, and I took them over last year as mostly sophomores. I had two seniors, a senior and a junior, and this year we had one senior. We're junior heavy. I've got one freshman and sophomore that played as well. So we're bringing a core group of returners, of athletes back, and we're pretty excited about it. But we got to take it one day at a time. Don't want to get ahead of put the cart before the horse here.
Well, again, Matt, congratulations. Great job. We'll catch up with you soon, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Go Bears.
Thanks a lot. Stick around. We've got more On Air with 912 Sports right after these messages from our sponsors.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Hello everybody, I'm Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. The final state championships of the 2024-2025 athletic year here in the state of Georgia are being decided this week on the baseball diamond and also on the golf courses around the state. This week on Monday and Tuesday, the state championships around the Peach State were decided in all classifications in the Georgia High School Association on the golf courses. And here today, I'm going to recap what happened on both the boys and the girls sides of the state championship shootouts. First, I'll start with the boys. In Class 6A, the largest classification in the state, the 912 had an individual champion. The low medalist in Class 6A from Richmond Hill, Ledger Conley, fired a 5-under 139 total over that 36-hole tournament to walk away as the individual champion in Georgia's largest classification. So congratulations to Ledger Conley of Richmond Hill, the 6A individual champion in 2025. Now in Class 5A, the state tournament actually held here in the 912 area code on Jekyll Island, a longtime staple synonymous Jekyll Island is with state golf. This year, the Class 5A boys tournament, 36 holes played on Jekyll Monday and Tuesday to decide the Class 5A state champion, and that ended up being Creekview. They win the tournament with the two-day total that came out on top. The low medalist for the championship was from Milton, and that was William Long, shot a 9-under total to walk away as the individual champion over on Jekyll Island. Now down in Class 2A, the 912 area code had the runner-up team, and that was Pierce County out of Blackshear. The Bears shot a 2-round total of plus 27,603. The Bears finished well back of Columbus, the state champion, which won the state crown with a plus 11 total. Also for the Bears, the state runner-up individually came from Blackshear, and that was Ethan Arnold of Pierce. He shot a 1-under 143 total over the 2 rounds to come away as the runner-up individually. So the Bears finished second overall and also have the second place finisher there in Class AA. So a pretty good state showing for the 912 area code on the boys side. Let's now jump over to the girls. We'll start down in Single A here with the girls. In Single A Division II, Charlton County, the Lady Indians finished third overall in Single A Division II. So Charlton County comes away with the top 3 finish there in the lowest classification. So congratulations to Charlton County. Now in Class AA, a mainstay, a perennial power is always Pierce County, and the Lady Bears get it done in state golf once again. Pierce County, once again, a state champion in Class AA. The Lady Bears with a 2-round total of plus 34, 322. Pierce County comes away as a state champion once again. The 4th time in a row, Pierce County has won a state championship, and they get it done again, like I say, for the 4th time in a row. And they also crown the individual champion once again. Mackenzie Cannell from Pierce gets it done with a plus 8, 152 total over the 36 holes. She is our 3-time player of the year here at 912 Sports. She won that honor just recently as well. And this was her 2nd state championship individually for the Lady Bears as well. So Pierce County once again sweeps the championships in girls Class AA. Now in 5A, also the state tournament held here in the 912 area code over at Sea Island Golf Club's retreat course on St. Simon's Island. Johns Creek led from start to finish in this one, led after day 1 and also finished on top after day 2 on Tuesday. Johns Creek won the Class 6A title last year, and Johns Creek drops down and wins the Class 5A title this year with a plus 38 score over 2 rounds. McIntosh finished 2nd at retreat with a plus 51 total. Greenbrier out of Region 1 5A finished 3rd. Glen Academy, a perennial contender, finished 4th this year. Had a group of seniors that were always in the hunt not too long ago, won a state championship. And Glen Academy, with another strong showing, finishes 4th this year in Class 5A as the host team there at retreat. Another 912 area code player out of Coffee actually tied for Low Mellis honors at plus 4. That was Hannah Powell, and then she lost in a 1-hole playoff, or fell in a 1-hole playoff, and settles for the runner-up spot. But again, Hannah Powell represents the 912 area code individually, comes away with the runner-up, and again shot plus 4 over the 2 rounds. So a fine showing for her representing Coffee County out of Douglas. And then in 6A, Richmond Hill with a strong showing. They finished 3rd overall as a team, just 3 shots behind runner-up Lowndes in the team standing. So Richmond Hill finishes well for the 912 and finishes top 3 in Class 6A, which of course is the largest classification in the state. So the 912 with a pretty strong showing in state golf this year in all classifications from top to bottom. Again, the state championships decided this week on golf courses around the state as another season here in high school athletics comes to a close with the school year winding down as well. That's going to do it for us here this week. Again, we're off next week. We'll come back after the dead week with more On Air with 912 Sports. For On Air with 912 Sports, I'm Kevin Price.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.